Welcome everybody, Tucson Acres. Got a new project, kind of excited about. I love this stuff. So I'm planning on taking out a bunch of trees here shortly, once the snow is basically gone. And my tractor is a 60 horse tractor. It can do quite a bit. I use the grapple and I can dig up under, basically any tree that's less than 6-inch diameter at the trunk. I can usually just knock it over and push the roots right out. Anything bigger than that, I have to work at it quite a bit, and it kind of stresses the tractor. So I looked online, checked YouTube, checked Google images for a quick attach root ripper. And I found one. I'll post a photo of it right here. And I think something like that will work just fine for me for what I'm doing, to be able to cut the roots. Now he had that on, a compact, subcompact, maybe a 20 to 25 horse tractor. Mine's a 60 horse and it can put a lot more force on it. So here's the steel I got. I got a chunk of 3/4 plate steel and some more 3/4 plate. None of my pieces were quite long enough or big enough to make one solid piece. This piece is just over 20, it's like just shade under 25 inches. This piece here is all random cut, and but this piece right here looks like it'll be a great little tip for it. It's already got an arc that I can use without making any adjustments to it. So I'm gonna get the plasma cutter out and whack this piece off of here, weld it onto that piece, and then I'm gonna cut a bunch of teeth in here, sharpen it, and I'm gonna sharpen both edges, and you'll see that throughout the video. Really shouldn't take all that long to at least get this part done. But then the quick attach plate, pretty sure this is only like 3/16 steel. It's got like maybe 3/8 brackets top and bottom, but this 3/16 plate is not gonna be strong enough. And just like that one in that photo, I'm gonna cut a couple holes out of it so that I can see through it while I'm operating in, visual holes, whatever you wanna call them. But I'm gonna definitely have to put some extra braces in it. Probably put a chunk of heavy duty angle iron across the top and the bottom, and then probably at least one in the middle. I know you can't see that there, but in the middle on the front and probably on the back as well, to stiffen it up and make it a little more rigid. So for cutting straight lines with my plasma cutter, I usually just use a chunk of 1/8 inch or smaller. And I have a drag tip on here. See how it's got the little holes cut out on the sides? That makes it so that the slag or dross can shoot out. Anyway, I put it right on the edge like that, and I can just slide it right down, make a nice, clean, straight cut. It's not too shabby of a cut. So anybody looking for a very nice plasma cutter and TIG welder and arc welder, $2,600 that entire machine cost. That's as much as a Hypertherm PowerMax 45 all by itself. And that's not even rated to cut 3/4. I don't think anyway. All right, so now to save myself like a month worth of grinding, I'm gonna use a piece of angle, put it in place and drag it along the edge to cut my kerf. Right. So now instead of grinding for the next hour and a half to knock that kerf off, bring it down to a point to weld it, all I gotta do is knock this dross off of here, do a little bit of grinding, and be ready to weld. All right, so my pieces are both cleaned up. They match up pretty good. Got some awesome bevels put in there, and the bevels are all cleaned up, ready for weld. I got out this monster chunk of 1 inch because my bench isn't perfectly flat. So I want these as close to flat and parallel as possible. And right there, I think they look pretty good. My bevels don't line up exact, but they're good enough for this. So I am by no means a proficient arc welder. I can generally make things stick, no pun intended. So we're gonna see how this turns out. That's what I like to see. For a hobby welder, I'm pretty happy with how those welds turned out. I use 70-18 for all the inside passes, root passes, the build up. Then I run a couple 60-13 passes on the outside just to kind of fill it in without burning in too much. Ta-da! Man, that's gnarly looking. At the very least, I can say that the weld is good all the way through. Looks like just pure metal straight through. I rigged up this little chunk of 1x and just clamped it to this so that I can get a nice 45-degree bevel with these cuts. And that'll just save me a lot of time grinding to get a sharp edge on here. Man, that worked out great. I have to say, that turned out pretty amazing. Obviously, I'll be cleaning up with the grinder, and then I plan on hard facing it, then sharpening it. This thing is starting to look scary. Can't barely feel my fingers anymore. I don't care who you are. That is one scary looking chunk of steel.